mind you, but you have a feeling that it'll liven up soon enough. I think the night city would be good. If the world was this stylistic, man, that'll be cool. And the inner city promises even crazier discoveries to be made with its tall skyscrapers looming on the horizon. Their top floors so high up that they can peek beyond the clouds. Damn! You only have faint memories of the shopping districts from back when you were little, but you can only imagine that they're even more bright, colorful, and loud than you recall. It has been almost 20 years after all, and cities change over time. New Relay first and foremost. Those snacks that you bought earlier at the train station have definitely made your trip so far a lot more interesting. Unsurprisingly, the crackers and drink that you bought at the vending machine were borderline inedible, not just simultaneously but on their own as well. Not even deactivating your pain receptors could have protected you from the horror you unleash upon yourself. It's still a little ways to go before you're fully done. You're fully done with those damnable snacks. You could just throw them away right now, you reason. But then you'd feel guilty over wasting Pandora's money for nothing. So you ultimately decide to face your awful decisions head on and finish what you've started. At the very least, the sights of the city so far have managed to distract you from the taste of those crackers pretty well. Over time, the dreadful flavor disappears from your taste buds, allowing you to focus once again on enjoying your surroundings. But touring this place isn't the main reason you're here. You still need to get that checkup at Pandora, so that's all you decide to think about for the time being. You'll have time to look around after you're done. You don't need a GPS or even simple directions to reach your destination. You can see it quite clearly on the horizon, towering above the city below and even over all the other skyscrapers nearby. Even a child would be able to find Pandora's HQ, so distinctive their main building is. It's unlikely they'd know about it in the first place, of course, but it's still there for the few like you who cannot live without them. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be enough to stop Arthur from trying to be of help. Your map history shows you've never been to New Relay before. Would you like a general overview of the city and its features? I have been here before. I spent at least 10 days cooped up at the labs while the scientists ran their tests, and I just sorta tried to figure myself out. You just weren't there with me back then, fortunately, I might add. Not to mention the few times I visited with my parents back when I was a child, which I don't fully remember, but that's besides the point. Would you still like me to read the Wikipedia article on it? It's the best way to get up to speed with all the meaningless trivia you'd never learn in your life otherwise. I would actually prefer if you kept quiet for a minute, thank you. Now that's not very nice. By the way, you're supposed to turn left right about now. Now, without a second thought, surprised as you are, you try to follow the navigator's instructions to the letter, and barely manage to avoid greeting a nearby tree with your forehead. Ha! Almost got you that time! Hilarious! It appears you've learned nothing from the last few days with this mistake of science. A testament to your humanity, perhaps, or to your stupidity. And then you wonder why I'm having the lab coats over at Pandora remove you for good. Your inability to handle a friendly AI cracking a few jokes at your expense does seem worthy of medical attention, yes. I'd probably be able to handle it a bit better if you didn't do it all the time, every single day. It's only been 3 days, Isaac. Don't be a drama queen. 3 days, huh? Felt like 3 years. Now shut up already, I need to concentrate. But I have so many more jokes I'd like to attempt. The only thing you're trying to attempt on is my life. You sigh once again as you question their decision to continue living for what must have been the 11th time by now. I really should have paid more attention when Mary explained how you worked to me the other day. Knowing my luck, she probably mentioned how to turn you off and I didn't listen. Then again, she was also the one who insisted on installing you in the first place, so it's not entirely my fault. Denying responsibility yet again, I see. Smart move. Speaking of smart moves, not getting hit right about now would definitely be wise. What are you talking? It comes at you so fast you almost don't see it. You only notice what is happening as the Panther kid driving his hoverboard down the lane narrowly dodges you just in time to avoid a gnarly collision. You don't even have time to figure out the model or the design of the board before the teen turns a corner and disappears further into the urban maze, swiftly headed who knows where. If you still had a heart, you imagine it'd be going crazy right about now. It'd be pumping adrenaline, that's for sure. Did that really just happen? Is that a rhetorical question or... Never mind. It's not really the hoverboard side that caught you off guard. Technology that relies on magnetic or fuel-reliant levitation is quite common these days, and hoverboards are by themselves nothing new. In recent times, they've evolved from a luxury item that only the wealthiest could afford to a utility item for those who don't quite have the money to purchase a car. Nevertheless, the sight is still quite shocking to you. Kids using hoverboards to go to school. It's only been 5 years or so since you could have been in the Panther's shoes, but the times have still changed drastically ever since. It's certainly not the kind of gift your mother would have ever given you for your birthday, that's for sure, not even if she could afford it. Maybe that's why you always found hoverboards so fascinating, because for you, they were always just out of reach. Even so, that was pretty fast compared to all the boards I've seen. That was at least twice, if not thrice as quick. Are you not worried for that kid's safety? He could have turned into Panther goo had he collided with you, you heartless fiend. Like you have a heart to speak of. Anyway, I'm sure he'll be fine. If his parents gave him a hoverboard at his age, that probably means he knows what he's doing, you know. I detect several massive holes in your reasoning. Would you like me to point them out to you in meticulous detail? God damn it, I really fucking... Number 1, you're assuming his parents are both responsible, mature, and have their mental faculties operating at 100% efficiency, as the latest studies show. You try to ignore the mocking voice inside your head as you keep trekking towards PANDORA laboratories. You speed up your pace as much as you can, as you can afford to, hoping to cut the time needed to get there as much as you can. You pray to whatever god is out there that you won't bump into yet more people while in this ridiculous state. That's PANDORA Labs. That is a big hunking, like towering skyscraper, architecture-wise. You finally reach your destination, the most tall, imposing, and unique skyscraper this side of the continent. So massive it is, you only now realize how small and insignificant you are by comparison. Truth be told, at least half of the imposing part is thanks to the big circular logo that watches over the equally impressive glass doors at the entrance. You always thought that the robotic-looking head Pandora chose as their symbol looked particularly creepy with its almost demonic-looking eyes that seems to stare right through you. However, now that you're seeing it in this red early morning light, you realize that creepy doesn't even begin to describe it. You were definitely desperate to even consider accepting help from a company with such a terrifying image. Sometimes I wonder if they even have a marketing team, you know? We do, and I can confirm that it is very aggressive. Right, of course it is. Every company does have a marketing team. The bigger the company, the more aggressive it is. The more aggressive the commercials and ads that you see everywhere. Other than the logo, the other eye-catching feature about the iconic building is that the huge glass sphere at the top, which shines from within, almost like a second moon. What's up with that thing, by the way? I always wanted to know what was up there. That information is confidential. Oh really? I didn't think it... Hold on. Is it though? Perhaps not. Oh come on, be useful for once in a while and tell me what I want to know. What's the point? You're going to ask whoever you're going to replace me with anyway. It's sarcastic AI, man. Alright, I just fixed the mic. Oh, someone getting jealous, huh? Maybe even remorseful over how much of a prick he's been in these past few days. Besides, I can't think of a witty line to accompany this description you asked for. So that's why. Figures. You only now realize how ridiculous you must look right now on an android seemingly entertaining a whole conversation and even getting angry with none other than itself. You hope there are no journalists hiding in the green bushes nearby, or Mary might never let you live this down. For some reason, you always had a knack for chatting with yourself whenever you were alone. It seems that habit has followed you even past your transition. You briefly wonder whether it's hard-coded into you, much like the rest of your personality, but without any knowledge about how the transition actually works, you can't say for sure. Regardless, you feel like you've spent enough time discussing with that pesky AI about this place. It's about time you finally got rid of him once and for all. Well, here goes nothing. Ooh, laboratory. The morning passes uneventfully, devoid of anything to do but answer nonsensical questions and complete unexciting exams. Through it all, Arthur remains as helpful as ever, making you consider the possibility of jumping out the nearest window more than once. You probably would have done it too had the AI not warned the nearby researchers of your plans every time you considered it. The early afternoon is yet more of the same, much to your dismay. At this rate, you feel like you might be stuck here forever with him. Fortunately, someone does come to finally relieve you of your faulty assistant eventually. It still takes a while to remove him safely, but after a while... There we go! How do you feel? You hesitantly wait for a sarcastic quip and an awful joke, a tasteless remark, but the only sound you hear is the beeps and boops of the PC as it runs its diagnostics on you. Good! Great, even! Thanks for the help, Dr. Shelley. Oh please, I told you already to call me Mary. I don't care for formalities or hierarchies in the slightest, and neither should you. The familiar sight of Dr. Shelley is about the same impact on you as a cold bottle of water after a tough workout, or the smell of a warm soup on a winter night. You never could have imagined how much you'd come to rely on her since beginning this strange journey, both physically and emotionally. Still, you've yet to fully figure her out. On one hand, she's always been sympathetic to your plight and eager to help you however she could. On the other hand, she's definitely got a few screws loose in her brain, which you can almost physically see from time to time. Regardless, you can't deny that she's remarkably helpful. When you told her about the issues you've been having with Arthur, she almost immediately offered to take him off of you, free of charge and on the next day to boot. Regrettably, the rest of her team just had to have their way with you before she could come to your rescue. Here, take a look at this. The lady suddenly presents her open palm to you. In it lays what looks like an old-fashioned USB, about as long and as wide as your index finger. Bright red lines shine across its length, running up and down rhythmically like waves in the sea. You immediately recognize it. It's what she brought with her to your place as she personally delivered you back to your normal life a few days earlier. Well, normal isn't quite right anymore, but that's beyond the point, you know? So that's Arthur, is what I'm thinking. Yup, troublesome as he may be, he's still a state-of-the-art B grade. Can't exactly throw it away, you know. So long as you don't give him to anyone else in his current state. Ha! Maybe one day, once we found a way to make it a little less... irritating? Yeah, I'll make sure to send your complaints to the guys over the AI department later, so they know exactly what to work with. Or what to work on. Can't have our precious synthetics killing themselves a few days after being reborn because of some overpriced, obnoxious software, huh? Oh, you heard about what happened before. I apologize about that. It was just a joke, I promise. That's okay, no need to apologize to me. If anything, I'm to blame for getting you to try this bad boy on. I recognize my mistakes when I make them. Commendable, you remember plenty of teachers at schools with far less integrity than the infinitely more powerful woman before you. Relatives too. Wow, this is hitting me hard, damn. I mean, that's pretty much what happened before to me as well. Now if you'll excuse me, I need to put this tiny jerk back in his cage. Should only take a minute. No worries, go right ahead. The cat walks over to the other side of the room, where what can only be described as a wall of drawers and lockers awaits her. Is she just going to shove Arthur inside one of them at random, or does she have some sort of container for him lying around somewhere? As you ponder that, you take a brief look around the room. You've seen it quite a lot of times over the course of your stay here, but every time you're here, it feels like there's a new nook or cranny to explore. There's hardly any space to move around thanks to all the desks and chairs lying around, and you can't count all the times you've hit a corner, tripped on something accidentally. You can't thank Mary enough for teaching you how to deactivate your pain receptors at will. Had she not, you'd probably already be back in the hospital due to pain. And with that, I'll be ending this episode right here. I think we've overstayed our welcome. I'll be chopping it up with, I believe, 8 and 9, or maybe 7 and 8. Depends on what episode are we currently on. But hopefully, I'll be seeing you in the next part of No More Future. And stay safe. Subscribe, like, comment. You know the drill. Thanks, and see ya.